Do you actually have to be on cocaine to be on this podcast?
It's a great day to be a Wildcat!
Cocaine.
Durfing.
What is up, everybody? You're listening to yet another edition of Cocaine Willie, the official Kansas State representative on the College Huddle. I am your commissioner, Bob Trollsby, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, the good chef, Andre Napier. And Fireball Matt Marchesini is yet again jet-setting internationally across the world somewhere. It sounded like maybe north of the border, not totally sure, but we'll see if he can make it back into the States. Not totally sure or confident that he will be able to.
Deported Matt is the new name. Deported Matt. He got picked up by ICE and he's sent to his country of origin. We don't know where he's originally from.
And Albany, New York may as well be a different country as far as I'm concerned. So with that, though, we're just going to have kind of a free-for-all episode, a little smorgasbord, if you will, of content talking about everything from Big 12 Media Days to Big 12 Media Days, because that's really all there is to chat about right now. But before we get started, this beer crack, is sponsored by Auntie May's Parlor, located at 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville in Manhattan, Kansas. And Auntie May's has been in business for 51 years running and is the go-to spot in Aggieville for all things comedy, live music, and all sorts of other events. Just taking a quick peek here. If you go to auntiemays.com and go to events, you'll see a list of all of their upcoming events. Wednesday, July 16th, we've got Trivia Smackdown. As always, you'll see that there. We've got Lane Hornback with Augustus Toole is performing on Thursday, July 17th. And then we have SBIA with the FNGs on Saturday, July 19th. All at the Parlor, all this week. Jam-packed week for the Parlor. Not always the case during the off season here, during the summer with all the townies going to the Parlor. But you can find a full list of all their events at auntiemays.com. And as always, like we've already mentioned, craft cocktail, draft beer, everything in between. It is the best spot in Aggieville. And be sure to tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. Chef, it's been a couple of weeks. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I don't know if you can hear this loud noise that's in the background. It is absolutely deafening in here. I don't know what it's going on, but I'm doing great. You know, it's just hectic at work, but we're here. We're ready to talk some cats. This is my reprieve from life. So I'm here with you. I can't ask to be anywhere else.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else either. Big 12 Media Days was last week. Let's kick things off with that. We heard, I watched a good chunk of it, really just the first day. Wanted to see the opening remarks from commissioner, the actual commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark, not at Big 12 Brett or at Bob Trollsby. Commissioner Yormark had really not a whole lot to say, as most of these commissioners get up on the stage, and unless there's a ton of hard-hitting news happening, it's a lot of just word vomit about, hey, we think we're a strong conference. Hey, we think we're a deep conference. You hear Sankey this week talking about the playoff format. We heard a little bit about that from Brett Yormark as well last week, kind of doubling down on the 5+11 format, which Sankey was more of a fan of the 4-4-2-2-1 format, but apparently the coaches in the SEC don't want that. So some things going on there, but really outside of that, an announcement of, I guess, doubling down also on the WWE partnership. I guess just from what Yormark had mentioned and from some of the, I guess, the hoopla around the conference itself from media days. Was there anything that stood out to you or anything that you found noteworthy from your mark?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I mean, bias aside, obviously, I love the WWE connection. I'm a huge fan of the WWE, huge fan of wrestling in general. So I love that we have a partnership with that. But there always seems to be something going on with the Big 12 trying to like find a niche area to, corner in. So it's not just football and sports and stuff like that. We're trying to be a brand that is associated with all kinds of other brands. So
doesn't he say like we want to be the conference that's at the intersection of art,
right,
culture, and entertainment?
Very New York-esque, very New York-esque style. It's interesting to say the least with that, but realistically, not that he would come out and like break some news anyway, but when he first got hired, it was amongst turmoil in conference realignment and all that. So obviously, the conference had a little bit going on, so it was more earth shattering when he was speaking. Things were on edge, so it was a little more context to what he was talking about. But now that everything's kind of cooled down and there's like a time in between the next round of conference realignment or anything major is going to happen, I almost think it's a good thing that he's not having to speak on something crazy like that to, get people all riled up. But, Big 12 media days don't just hit like they used to. I mean, if it wasn't associated with K-State, I mean, I really wasn't paying too much attention. I mean, you like seeing Dion back in, some kind of public light. And then just the players that the other teams brought really wasn't recognizable. I'll be honest. Maybe Arizona State, Sam Levitt. Outside of that, we didn't have the big name hitters. Like, I think Shador didn't go last year, did he?
No. I don't recall, to be honest.
I don't think Shador or Travis Hunter went last year. But nevertheless, I think it just was a little different. But from K-State's perspective, I liked what we were hearing. A lot of coach speak, but the players that we brought, a lot of interesting personalities. There was a couple people that didn't expect to be the ones that were representing K-State, which I took as a nice surprise. But as a whole, what Brent Yormark was saying, what, the whole mass of Big 12 was basically representing it's a calm year. There's nothing really going down, and it's just business as usual.
The last year I remember it being a calm year was the year before Oklahoma and Texas left too. So I'm sure something is on the precipice, but because do you remember that one when Bowlesby gets up there and he says, I didn't get a single question about conference realignment, and I bet someone like $5 that would happen. So I guess I'm out $5. And then not even 2 weeks later,
they gone.
Realignment. Yeah, they're gone. That was just insane how that all shook out. Yes. And then the first year was, like you said, amid turmoil. I was tweeting out imposter bullshit about teams joining the conference that weren't joining the conference. And he's having to have the conference tweet out that I am not him. And that's getting talked about on Sirius XM. And he's having to sit down on the stage with Bob Bowlesby to talk about the State of the Union and the moves that might be getting made, because I think at that point it was still the Hateful Eight. I think at that point we still hadn't even extended the official invites yet to BYU, UCF, or Houston.
And Cincinnati.
Actually, you know what? I think that did happen in 2021. They were about to join the league though, right?
They had a calendar date. I remember that.
Yeah, it was like we were in the engagement period at that point.
Yeah.
So nobody had got married yet, but we were in the engagement period. Yeah. So ignore everything I just said. But yeah, he's having to share the stage with Bowlesby, and I just can't imagine, one, how awkward that would be, and two, how much pressure there also had to be at the same time. But last year we have the 4 new teams from the Pac-12 coming in, so it's a lot more okay, it feels like things are on the up and up, but it's still, we finally have had one full year. We're going into our second full year here where it's going to be the same membership. No one's going to be leaving. No one's going to be joining that we know of for at least the next calendar year, academic year. Yeah. So it feels like there's a stasis. And I think for you to mention that it's boring, it's kind of nice that it's boring.
I mean, it's secure for sure. And then I think, like you were saying, the big news really was like the Big 12 WWE thing. And I think, what was it last year, was the Big 12 and Mexico sponsorship. Like, we were doing like games in
last year's big news was Mike Gundy drinking
I mean
5 or more beers 1,000 times.
What really should be the legal limit for a guy that's 6'2", 230 pounds? I mean, really, for him, 15 beers is probably like 4 for you. So, because I've done that like 6 or 7 times, if that's the case.
That was the big news. But even that, like, Gundy didn't say anything ridiculous other than saying he liked his NCAA avatar or whatever.
The player, his coach model with his afro, he loved it.
Which is still just, I mean, it's awful. It's awful. I guess another piece of news is you had Julian Lewis from Colorado was one of the representatives, even though he's in a quarterback battle with Caden Salter. So that was another thing that came up. But I mean, looking at the list of some of the guys, I mean, Josh Hoover's a familiar name. Yeah. Nnamdi Obi-Izor is a familiar name, but mostly because we're K-State fans.
Right, exactly.
Jaden Bray, I think, is a returner for West Virginia. Jalen Daniels. But, like, I don't recognize any of the other KU guys. I don't recognize any of the Houston guys.
Was Baylor – did they have Sawyer?
Baylor had Sawyer, and I guess this is just what I'm looking at here. I think is just the second day, which is kind of annoying. USA Today article, bullshit. But yeah, to your point earlier as well, I also didn't feel like there were a ton of super recognizable faces, like you said, Sam Levitt, Sawyer Robertson, Avery Johnson. I do want to unpack though one of the things you mentioned which was with the K-State representatives. What about the K-State representative surprised you? Because we had Taylor Poitier, Avery Johnson, VJ Payne, and
Cody Stufflebean.
That
was the major surprise. I mean, he is a what is he going to be? A 6th-year senior.
Is he 7th or 6th?
I think he's 6. He was in the first full recruiting class that Chris Kleiman got.
That's right.
Taylor Poitier was in that shortened, condensed recruiting class out of Bishop Miege. But I think him and Taylor Poitier were surprising. I mean, Taylor probably deserved it. I mean, he's got a lot of story that people probably want to hear about, being one of the super seniors. The last of that COVID last year of like, he'll have no more eligibility, brother. You're cooked after this one. And then Cody Stufflebean was the real big surprise for me. But honestly, he gave some of the most insightful answers, some of the most, wholesome answers that I heard. I mean, he's a real adult amongst children out there that are playing a game. I like that. And I think that speaks to, I mean, we're a Kansas State fans, so we know these people. So from the outside of another program, they're looking at, like, who are these guys? Maybe they recognize Avery Johnson. They probably don't recognize VJ Payne, and definitely not Taylor Poitier or Cody Stufflebean. But I think that's not an epidemic. I shouldn't say epidemic because it's not really an issue, but it's returning production and returning production with retention on teams is just not happening amongst like programs across the country. So like you look at teams like in the Big Ten or in the SEC, tons of new starters, tons of new players. Obviously, this has to do with the transfer portal and all that. So the names are just not recognizable, or you might recognize a name, but they played for another program previously.
I mean, who the hell's starting at Oklahoma at quarterback?
The guy from Washington State. And the only reason I know that is because I'm a football nerd. I don't remember
Jackson Arnold's at Auburn.
Exactly. So, I mean, but it's things like that, like remember, I mean, Big 12 media days back in the day, it would be your quarterback. He's been the 3-year starter, or he's the 2-year starter, or he's been with the program 3 years and he's finally come up to be the starter. But now it's a transfer quarterback. Do you bring a transfer quarterback in? Maybe that's why Colorado uses a freshman or whatever to be there in a quarterback battle with 2 other people.
Well, and the fact they brought both too is just that was weird.
Yeah, so I mean, it's little things like that. But I mean, from the K-State perspective, I like the picks. I honestly, who I thought was going to be the picks. Oh, Desmond Purnell was there too. I forgot about Desmond.
Yeah, Des was
Forgot
there
about Des. I figured Des would be there. I figured Avery would be there. I thought Dylan would be there.
Yeah.
And then I thought my boy George Fitzpatrick would be the pick.
He was talked about a lot.
Yes. And then I thought Gunnar Maldonado would be the pick outside of VJ Payne. But I mean, those are just names that I thought would be interesting stories, like a couple transfers, a couple guys that have been with the program a long time, and then the two bright young faces of the I mean, those guys are potential all conference guys. So that's how I thought it would play out. But the guys that we did bring, great interviews. Yeah. Honestly, great interviews.
I agree. I mean, just think about this. Think about if we had in Big 12 Media Days 2010, we're bringing Grant Gregory and Carson Kaufman, or 2009.
Yeah. I mean,
or Carson Kaufman and Colin Klein. Like, imagine bringing 2 quarterbacks. Like, that's a little weird to me.
It is strange. It's a strange dynamic because, I mean, they can't. What are the questions they're getting asked? Like, are you thinking how are you gonna beat out the guy and he's right there next to you getting interviewed? Yeah. I mean, they're gonna most quarterbacks are, bright guys. They're not gonna throw their teammate under the bus, but they're also competitive people. So it's a weird dynamic for sure.
First time that Utah hasn't brought Cam Rising to media days in how long?
A million years. So that's another thing. Like, did they bring Dampier?
I think they did, yeah.
And so that's like just another guy that you're like, oh, okay, he's here. I guess he's the starting quarterback, but obviously, like, it's just different. I don't know. I just feel like
you're just jaded.
Yeah, I'm jaded, and maybe I just feel like it's a weird dynamic because there's so many quarterbacks that aren't returning. I think like you think of guys that are returning at quarterback, you think of like Garrett Nussmeier at LSU, you think of Drew Aller at Penn State, and then I mean that's the SEC and Big Ten. Really, that's like those are the big guys.
Manning is new. The kid from Washington State's new.
I guess Nebraska.
Lenora Sellers he was there last year, right?
Yeah, he was there last year, but I mean he was a true freshman last year.
And what's the name of the guy at Florida?
DJ Lagway. He also didn't even start half of the games.
Yeah.
So those are new, but I guess it's a young crop and it's the new guard. So I just gotta get my head wrapped around these are the guys because you're just so used to seeing some of the other guys before that.
Yeah. It's gonna be weird. I think another thing that was weird was not having the whole media days preseason poll. I know they announced preseason team. We didn't get into preseason team or preseason poll at all. Maybe we can get into preseason team. Preseason all Big 12. Let's see here. So we've got 2025 on offense. Offensive player of the year will be Sam Leavitt, quarterback, Arizona State. Defensive.
It's going to be interesting to see that. I guess we'll talk about it after you name the whole thing.
Yeah, defensive player of the year, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, Texas Tech, and then newcomer of the year is Devin Dampier, quarterback from Utah. I guess on those preseason OPOY, DPOY, and newcomer of the year, what are you thinking about those 3 guys?
It's Sam Leavitt. I mean, outside of what Cam Scattaboo did for them, did he really ever carry them to a victory? That's really what you got to ask yourself. Was he ever the main focal point? He had some good games, don't get me wrong, but a lot of their offense was based on what Cam Scatterbo can do. So what are they going to bring? Did they get an Army transfer or something at running back? I'm not sure.
Yes, and I think his name is Kanye, which is the only reason I remember that.
Shout out to Mr. West. Yeah, I think it's a big prove-it year for Sam Levitt. You know, he never really was the belle of the ball at Michigan State and then transferred to Arizona State. And I mean, no one really expected to see this rise to stardom that he produced, and now it's really his show. So similar to when Jalen Daniels was, named Offensive Player of the Year at KU. They had that big season, but he was never really the star of the show. And then he had some flashes, but then it's this prove it year where all the expectations are on you. We'll see. Defensive Player of the Year for I feel like the last few seasons it's been a cornerback or like a defensive back. It's interesting that they go a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
That I've never heard of.
Watch that guy's going to tally up 6 sacks against us or something.
No, he'll probably have 1.5 million tackles. He probably led the conference in tackling last year. In all honesty, I just don't know.
Captain of the team, 127 total tackles last year.
Dang.
77 solo. So he's a dude.
He's a dude.
We just didn't play. We didn't play Texas Tech last year.
We definitely didn't play Tech last year. I don't remember the one Tech game that I saw last year was versus Colorado, and they blew that game. So yeah, I'm not going to knock that pick. Is there really like any big pass rush specialists this year in the Big 12? I can't think of any. They probably play for Tech because they're probably some transfer that's worth $7 million a season. So
you've got Dante Corleone on the line.
I like him, but he's a nose guard who's never really. They're never going to get the attention. He's going to make if he's the guy that they're saying he is, and he's making every tackle. I could still see that one stick. Yeah, especially if Tech has a really good season, and then newcomer. Usually these always go to the transfer quarterback. I could definitely see that one. I don't know how explosive Utah's offense is going to be, but that's really the question. Because if they're good at quarterback, then they're probably going to be really, really good because their defense is probably going to be nasty. I love all that. I'm honestly shocked that they fired the media and no more poll. Just no more.
No more poll.
You get no more poll.
No more poll. But we've got 2 K-Staters on this list. I honestly was a little surprised by one of them. Although it's becoming the annual K-State fullback H-back award. Will Swanson is not exactly who I expected to see on this list, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not to knock Will Swanson, but that's a stacked tight end room. I don't even think of him as a fullback or H-back so much as a tight end. But because I feel like 2 years ago we had a run of like 3 or 4 in a row. H-back.
Yeah, I mean Jackson Neen took a couple of them. Nick Lenners took a couple of them. Who was another guy?
With the Commanders now, the tight end.
Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott took a couple of them. There's just a run on these fullback H-backs that, I mean, we honestly don't even have that position anymore, which is actually kind of funny.
Did we even reclass? But like, that's the thing though, is I think with Ben Sinnott, we reclassified him as an H-back before.
Yeah, we didn't. We played the system.
Did we do that with Will Swanson though? Because I think he's still listed as a tight end.
There's some packages where they motion into like a fullback for like these stretch plays. I don't know how often
he's listed as a tight end.
I cannot imagine that we're going to be in the gun. I would say we're going to be in the gun, maybe pistol 97% of that this season. Yeah. So I don't know how often we're going to even have another tight end in the backfield. It's going to be interesting to see how we use all these guys. It is going to be interesting. I know we'll get to offensive position breakdowns on a later episode, but that one was a surprise, and it's good for Will Swanson. This is his last run, very similar to Cody Stufflebean. His last run, he deserves it. I mean, he's been the penultimate glue guy. Like he's been that guy no matter how many different bodies we brought into the tight end room. He's kind of been that steady one that is willing to be the blocker, willing to just go out there. He's had some nasty drops in his career, I'll be honest. And then he didn't get his first touchdown until last season, and I thought it was or was it 2 seasons ago? Might have been I think it was last season, but Will Swanson, I mean, first team. If he gets a first team All Big 12, you gotta count it, baby. Put him in the Ring of Honor.
I agree. I'm curious. So there are a few other guys I feel like could have probably made this list. I think of like Sam Hecht. I feel like Sam Hecht. I mean, I look at this offensive line group. I recognize Jordan Seaton on here from Colorado.
Oh,
Bryce Foster from KU.
The Utah kid.
Spencer Fano, from Utah.
Stud. Absolute stud.
But what's to say that Sam Hecht can't make that list? He was second team All Big 12 last year. What are they going off of here?
I think
like anybody else might have been snubbed.
No. Oh, yes. For sure. I mean, the problem is we're in this like middle area where we're not too much of a passing team where our wide receivers will get the love. And that's the same goes for Avery Johnson. He just doesn't put up the passing numbers that some of these guys in the conference does. And I mean, we are an excellent running team, which I think would yield more offensive linemen getting on there. But obviously we're returning so few. I mean, we're only returning 2 if you count Taylor Poitier. Mm-hmm. And I think Sam Hecht probably did deserve it. And it's so hard with the centers in the conference. Like, who are they? Who are the centers? Like you just said, who are these guys? We don't know them. We don't know them at all. So by the end of it, more than likely Sam Hecht will be on there. He might not be preseason, but definitely going into his senior year, he'll definitely be probably, if he makes another run at a second team or a first team, he'll be preseason next year. But I mean, offensive snubs. I would did they do the all-purpose player?
I'm not seeing that. I see 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, H-back, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 5 O-linemen, place kicker, punt return, kick return, and then defense.
Yeah. So, I mean, if there was an all-purpose on there, Dylan would probably have his place in there.
They've got Josh Cameron from Baylor as kick returner.
Huh. He's number 30. Is he number 34?
I don't know.
I think he's the number 34 kid. If he is, then yes, that is deserving.
He is number 34.
Yeah, he's tough. He is tough on special teams. He's tough basically everywhere. Baylor, they got him a dude with him. He's crazy. I mean, he's 34 as a receiver. He's a psychopath. So he gets it done on special teams. So yeah, I can see that one. But Dylan is going to be. I don't know how much we're going to use him on kick return. Yeah, I would like to see it, but he's going to be the bell cow back, so he can't have him running full speed. And you just don't want him even out there just requiring a fair catch. So you don't want the bandwidth being stretched out that far. Yeah.
So, well, who would you put?
Oh, at our kick return?
Yeah. Sterling Lockett season?
Oh man. No, I don't know if I'd put Sterling back there. Nurnberg, is that his name? Little white boy. I think he wears number 24. Oh. He's fast. He can get it done. Crazy. I mean, just the rules in general in college sports, kick return is kind of like a lost art. So I don't even know. I just want somebody that can secure a fair catch or just, field it into the end zone and take a knee at this point.
Bryce Nurnberg.
What number does he wear?
21.
Dang it, I was off. I thought it was 24. He's tough. I could see him being basically, when you think of like how we had to cut the roster down to 105 and he didn't get cut, that kind of says something right there,
Yeah.
because he wasn't a scholarship guy. He was, kind of those walk-ons. That's probably a preferred walk-on. That he might be on scholarship now. More than likely he is, but yeah, he's on the team for a reason. He's probably really, really quick.
Local guy too, could
yeah.
be, kind of a Jordy Nelson archetype, if you will.
He's
Smaller guy.
a little
Oh, he's
smaller than
big.
Jordan.
He's 6'5".
No, there's no way.
He's
You got to look
6'5",
that up.
170.
No, he's not. There's no chance. Who are we talking about?
Bryce Nornberg.
He's 6'5". No, he may be 5'6". For Bryce Nornberg? No way he's 6'5". Holy shit,
Bryce
he is.
Nornberg,
He is actually 6 foot fucking 5.
That's insane.
It's so funny.
Would not have guessed that.
Yeah, I mean that one would be actually pretty funny if you see a 6'5", 175-pound guy. I mean, just Usain Bolt looking, the Caucasian Bolt, just running down the side. I like it.
He's not in that 23 mile an hour club though, right?
He isn't not, but I don't know.
I wanted to be someone in that 23 mile an hour club, but I also don't want to waste that body.
You don't want to. Like you don't want VJ Payne or Avery Johnson or Dylan Edwards.
No.
Well, I guess you could say you'd want Dylan Edwards and Donovan McIntosh. Is it McIntosh?
McIntosh.
I don't want to say Donovan Mitchell this time. So
you did do that last time.
That is pretty funny.
The
Cavs on the brain.
Looking at the defense, I won't get into it too much, but Austin Romaine, linebacker, gets a nod for K-State on the preseason. I'm not surprised by that at all. Looking at the DBs, you've got Xavion Alford, Bud Clark, Jeremiah Cooper, DJ McKinney, and Jontez Williams. Those are all guys I've heard of. Yeah. So I don't feel bad about that.
Bud Clark? Who's that guy?
TCU, senior, TCU.
Remember him? I know Cooper.
I think about VJ. You mentioned Donovan McIntosh. He's going to be an insanely good DB this year, but I don't think he's done enough yet really want preseason.
No. Him and Jayshon Rich are going to be fun. We'll see. And I mean, like you said, we'll probably get into the outline about names that we heard being mentioned. And our head coach mentioned Jalen Rowe multiple times. And he said he's 230 pounds. I don't know if he's 230 pounds. If he's 230 pounds playing corner, he's a freak of nature.
Kind of like Bryce Nornberg at 6'5" as a kick return.
Yeah. But I mean, those guys aren't snubbed yet. I wouldn't say VJ probably snubbed. I would say snubbed. He's such a physical box safety, and he covers pretty well in terms of turnovers and all of that. Linebackers, obviously, Austin Romaine is our guy.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a captain this year? That's another thing that I would find interesting, because how many guys do we bring to Big 12 media days that don't end up captains? I think that would be a fun trivia question down the road. Man, oh man. And then D-line, I think a lot can be said about Damian Ialio.
I was going to say, I feel like a case could be made for Damian, but I don't think we've seen enough from Uso. He's had the injury trouble, Damian's a dude though.
Uso is going to go down in K-State, like K-State lore about like he's going to be that what could have been guy. Yeah. Like if he would have got into football earlier, if he would have got, if he didn't waste a year at Garden, if he, if he didn't get hurt, if he didn't have the same knee injury twice, like what could Uso have been? Because he is such a freaky large human. Yeah. And he's explosive, but he's just so kind of new to football, and he's going to end up just being a role guy, but he's probably going to be one of the most favored role guys of all time at K-State.
Yeah. I love Uso. I love the personality. I love kind of the aura of Uso, but
exactly.
I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he can have that finally like break through that
But there's a lot of D tackles that we're going to be talking like that with.
Yeah.
Just on this roster alone, not even just all time. I mean, just you got Damian, who's going to be the stud. It's going to be hard to even get him off of the field. And then you got Malcolm Alcord Crowder, who's hopefully got
Big Mac.
Hopefully he's learned in the system because he was such a stud out of JUCO that if conditioning is right, he's such a large human being who knows where he's going to be at. Yep. And then, I mean, there's just people behind that if they can get it together, the D tackle room should be depth-wise probably the best we've had in a long time. But that's what I'm saying. It's a lot that goes into that. But Uso fits snugly into that second spot, I think.
Yeah. What do you think about Jaden Rowe? Do you think he's going to be one of those guys? Because we've heard a little bit about him. We heard a lot about Ryan Davis at Big 12 Media Days. We heard a lot about George Fitzpatrick. Who are some of the other names? And of those names, throwing Jaden into that mix, who do you think is actually the most likely to have a real bust-out season this year?
Honestly, I think it's going to be the receivers. I mean, Javon Tibbs
was talked about.
Jerron Tibbs is, I mean, he was like JB Bradley. I thought he was going to be like who I was hearing the most of, but then everybody's just talking about how Tibbs has turned it on and how he is really the guy of guys out there. That's really good news. But we've heard this song and dance before about K-State receivers. Let's see if it actually comes to fruition this time.
Don't count your chickens.
Yeah, but if it does, and you know what you got with Jace Brown, and then JB Bradley has done it at multiple Power 5 programs, even if he is the third option, he's a humongous third option, to say the least. This could be the biggest, the fastest, most put together 3 wide receivers we've had since what? I mean, and it's not even comparable because they were good, but they were in terms of athleticism and size. This current group of receivers that we have poo-poos on Malik, Cade, and Phillip. Like, those guys don't even compare. I mean, Phillip Brooks was maybe 5'8", and Cade had the athleticism of his father. So we're really just these guys should be able to clear those guys, and that's scary to think about because you would think. I mean, this is a scary offense let's be honest. Okay. Colin Klein with that was still a quarterback run first kind of guy. Let's be honest. He had Deuce Vaughn and he had DJ Giddens, but we still found a way to get Will Howard, 5 or 6 carries every game because we liked quarterback power. I don't think Matt Wells is doing that. With a more athletic quarterback and Avery Johnson, I think we're still going to be able to sling that ball around.
What do you think is a realistic expectation for fans to have for a guy like Tibbs or JB Bradley when it comes to the total yards that they put up this season? Because I know everybody talks about K-State hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Curry Sexton and Tyler Lockett, right?
Oh, that's
in a
tough.
single season. So it's going to take some realistic expectations going into the season. Like, these guys probably aren't going to get to 1,000 yards in a single season.
Who's to say that though? Who is to say that though?
Because you've got Dylan Edwards and Avery. You've got all these tight ends that are going to be catching the ball too.
But also we have
a lot of mouths to feed.
There's a lot of mouths to feed, but eventually the cream rises to the top. And
sure,
Avery's going to have his favorites to throw to, and things are going to open up. We're going to see a different offense. We don't have, like, even Deuce Vaughn was a 20-time carry kind of guy. Like, he could carry the workload of 20 carries, no problem. I don't know if Dylan can do that. And behind him, I don't know if I trust the running backs behind him. No offense to Joe Jackson, but he's still only a redshirt sophomore. Just think about that. He's only a redshirt sophomore.
And there's a lot of guys in that depth chart on running back as well.
There is a lot of guys, but you don't go like as much as he still has the North Dakota State blood running through him, where he was using 4 or 5 running backs at a time. He has never done that at K-State. He's never done that. I mean, the closest one was the first year when he had Gilbert, Brown, and Harry Trotter. We haven't done that. We've had a bell cow back, and we sporadically littered some carries to other players throughout, and the quarterback run game is obviously in there as well. I think this is going to be more of a passing offense than I really considered until this real conversation right now. I think the vertical passing game is really what's going to open up the run game for us. Not so much the threat of the RPO or the quarterback read or the powers or anything like that we had with DJ Giddens, to spread the field out, because we have such versatile tight ends where they don't have to line in line. They can go spread wide. Maybe that's where a Lincoln Cure gets involved. Anything like that to give space to Dylan Edwards. But when you go 4 wide like that and you have the size at receiver that you have, I mean, Jace is all of 6'1", and he's probably going to be the shortest receiver out there.
Yeah.
And then so it's going to be a lot more vertical, because that's how I remember Texas Tech's offense. It was more vertical shots with like kind of pulling guards, base kind of runs for the running back up the middle when it's spread wide. A numbers game with the O-line. So I could see that coming over here, and it's going to be all on Avery's shoulder to get the ball to these players. So the original question was, what's the numbers that you could see? I think Jace had 800 something yards last year.
Yeah.
I don't think his production is going to go down. If I'm being honest, I don't see how his production can go down.
Shouldn't. It shouldn't.
I think the tight ends productions can go down. I think they would be more of a red zone threat and check down situations. I think they're going to be running a lot of routes within 5 or 6 yards of the line of scrimmage. What was that?
I opened up Jace Brown's player page on ESPN, and it started auto playing video for me. So apologies to the listeners.
I didn't hear it, but like I was saying, Jace Brown, I don't think his production is going down. I think JB might end up being the least productive of the receivers. And not to say, I think that's probably in that 400-yard range. I think he's even more of a red zone threat than
400 yards is the least productive for a receiver on this team. I
think Jace could be 1,000-yard receiver, and I think Tibbs could probably put the production that Jace had last year. Or vice versa. I think you could flip either one of those guys, where one is just shy of 1,000 and one's 1,000, and then the tight ends not nearly. And then the problem is, because DJ Giddens was such a threat receiving, does Dylan become that same threat? I don't know.
Well, he certainly is.
He is, but if he's going to be the running back that we have, do we want the carries going? How do we want the carries split up amongst him carrying the ball and receiving the ball? Because he can't be the number 1 running back and get the receiving yards that DJ had, because he's just not. I keep saying that, but I don't know. But physically, I just don't see how he could hold up. He's 170 pounds.
Yeah. I don't know.
Deuce Vaughn was all of 180 pounds, but he was built totally different.
Yes. Yeah. He's 5'6", but he was a brick wall.
He was a little shit house. So I don't know. I'm honestly excited for this offense, because I think it could be the most explosive and most modern numbers in terms of statistical numbers that we've seen at K-State in a long, maybe ever. So it's going to be fun to see. I think it's going to be akin to Jake Waters numbers receiving.
Oh,
I don't know. That's what I think because
I love
Jake
it.
what was if you could look up this with your fast fingers, what was his rushing? What was his rushing that season?
Jake Waters is rushing.
Jake Waters rushing with no Daniel Sams to take his carries away.
Like the team rushing
No,
yards
just
for that season?
just Jake's because
Would that have been
he
14
had the single season. He had the single season record for
13 or
passing. It's
14
14.
or 14. 14. Yikes. Rushing he had 484 rushing yards.
He had a lot of sneaky games. The Iowa State game,
I would have thought.
Yeah, he had the sneaky game versus Iowa State where he ran up the middle and blew out his AC joint, which caused
312 in 2013. So 2 years, back-to-back years of 300 plus rushing.
He had some goofy numbers. If you look at it, he had some goofy numbers. Like holy crap, he really was putting up numbers. I think it could be very similar to that. Maybe
he still had John Hubert too, so he was getting a lot of those rushes as well. But
let's not kid around. I'm not. This is definitely not going to get. I'm not going to bash John Huber because John Huber is one of my favorites.
Love John Huber.
I love John Huber. But maybe cut down on the passing numbers for Avery in terms of like if you can compare Jake Waters' numbers to what Avery Johnson could do, cut down on that, but increase the rushing. Maybe like 500, maybe like 600 yards rushing for Avery and 2,300. No, right, more than that. Probably like 2,800 passing. That makes sense, right? What is that?
Yeah.
Like almost 44,000 yards total.
Yeah.
I would live with that. I would absolutely live with that.
Yeah. I mean, he had 605 rushing yards last year, so
I think it'd probably stay near the same. That was including
the injury.
That was including the injury where he didn't run at all versus West Virginia. He had some, and at the beginning of the season, we thought he might be 1,000-yard rusher the way he carved up Arizona, carved up Oklahoma State. Yeah. I thought there was a chance, but obviously the injury derailed that, and I think that was a Connor Riley offense that loved quarterback runs still. So I don't know. This is where I went on a long diatribe there about like what we could expect, but I can't wait to do that exercise that we did last year with Matt, where we're like talking about like what numbers are getting broke and all that stuff. We were probably so wrong on all of those, but we'll see.
I think we were. I'll go back and take a look at that because I think I marked it all down. But I'm excited to see what happens with Avery and especially his numbers and to see what the yardage kind of breaks out to position by position and personnel by personnel, because it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the last thing I have for this episode is preseason Big 12 rankings, because I did one. Okay. I did a media poll by myself, but also with a bunch of other people. Was sent out by Gambling Gauchos. A lot of different people who were included on this, including Derek Young. John Kurtz is on here. Heartland College Sports 1012 is on here. So we're in some good company there. Country Roads Webcast. A lot of different people here, but I will just share who I voted for and where I had everybody ranked, but probably no surprise to anybody here. I had K-State ranked first.
I agree.
Arizona State second.
I got Tech.
Okay. I've got Utah third.
I've got Arizona State third.
Okay. I've got Baylor fourth.
I would go Baylor fourth.
I have Iowa State fifth.
I would probably go Utah there.
I have TCU sixth.
I would go Iowa State.
I have Oklahoma State seventh.
Oh, no. I would probably go TCU there.
I've got Texas Tech eighth.
Holy shit.
Keeping in mind that between number 3 and number 8, I think those teams could be separated by 1 game.
Yeah. I would go. This is probably where I would have. I'll go KU here.
Wow. Okay. I've got Colorado 9th.
I'd probably go. I can't. I'll probably go BYU. I think they probably have the talent, even though they're losing their quarterback.
Oh, yeah. That was another update. BYU no longer. Number 10, I've got KU. So we're not too far off there.
I would go. I'd give some love to Houston.
That's who I have at 11th.
I'll go West Virginia there.
Rich Rod retread. 12th, I've got West Virginia, so we're not far off there either.
I'll go Arizona here.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Noah Fafita, he wasn't terrible. I mean, he lost his number 1 receiver, but I think
Jordan Tyson is an Arizona State Sun Devil, so forget that I was going to say anything there.
No, you're fine. I mean, I think Arizona, they still have talent. It's just their coach brings them down. But I think the teams after them that I have are way worse. I think Colorado's going to be bad. I think Colorado's going to be pretty bad. Now you got Colorado next.
Okay. 13th, I've got BYU.
Okay. Then I've got Cincinnati.
14th, I have UCF.
Who am I? No, I got Oklahoma State, OSU.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you don't think Zane Flores is the truth?
No, I don't. No, I don't. Who am I missing?
You had Gundy so high on the power ranking, though.
I think he's an all-time coach. And, I mean, realistically, if he has another bad year, then a lot can be said about his career, and people are going to say it.
Fair enough.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
15th.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
15th, I have Cincy.
Who am I missing?
And 16th, I have Arizona.
I want to put UCF last. I'm missing a team. I'm missing a team. K-State Tech, Arizona State, Baylor, Utah, Iowa State, TCU, KU, Baylor, Houston, West Virginia, Arizona, Colorado, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State. I don't know who I'm missing. Who am I missing?
Who are you missing?
Who am I missing? I don't know. I thought I have everybody. Brother, who am I missing?
This is great podcasting.
I don't know who I'm missing, to be honest. But they probably stink, so.
I think they probably do if they are that far down. Did you have Arizona State?
I have Arizona State a third.
Okay. UCF, Cincy, Arizona, Oklahoma State, BYU, West Virginia.
Where did I put BYU? I put BYU right there. Who else did you say?
Houston, KU, Colorado.
Have that.
Texas Tech.
Did I not? I put TCU. Oh, this is bad. This is bad podcasting. Just cut all of this. This is bad. This can't be all of them, right? That is all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I got them all.
Yeah, okay, you got them all. What the fuck? After all that, you had them all the whole time. I was going to say, I think you had them all there.
Yeah, I think UCF is the worst team.
I don't think they're that far ahead from being the worst if they are not the worst.
So bad.
They're pretty bad. All right. That's basically all I had for today. Just going to give a quick programming note on what we've got coming up. So we're going to skip next week as well. So we're going to continue with the every 2-week format until July 28th. We are going to do our annual offensive and defensive position group breakdowns, which are usually our most listened to or watched episodes of the pod. So get excited for that. Chef gets to put his coach's hat on. I guess I was going to say chef hat, but you know, coach's hat, chef hat.
I'd wear it on the sideline.
Porque no los dos. He's going to put on those hats, and we're going to get to learn a little bit more about each of these position groups, depth charts. We're going to talk about which players we think are going to be breakout players. There we go. He's got the chef hat.
Coach Chef.
It's perfect. If you're not watching this, you're listening to this. Chef just put a chef hat on, but I think you should wear that for the whole episode. When we do the position group breakdown. So
probably should wash it.
But we've got that on the 28th of July. We'll be dropping that episode, and then the following week we'll drop the defensive position groups. We're going to do Big 12 predictions, our annual kind of go through the entire schedule for the entire conference and simulate where we think everyone's going to land, and highlight a couple of marquee matchups that we think are going to decide the conference more than others. We'll talk about that stuff. And then on August 12th, we are going to record our episode previewing the matchup against Iowa State in week 0 with Jake Brend, who's been on the pod. I think this will be his 4th appearance on Cocaine Willie, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going back a long ways with Jake Brend, with the annual tradition that is Farmageddon. May it rest in peace in 2027. And at that point, we'll also be bringing back our week 0 locks. So we still got to work out some stuff. I don't know if we're going to do Big 12 fantasy this season. I would love to do that again, but we may do kind of a pared down draft or something. But I don't know that anybody listened to the draft episode last year, but we can always talk about it later on. But I enjoyed the draft nonetheless. But that's going to do it as far as the program. So get excited. Some of our best offseason content is still yet to come. Yeah, that's all I've really got. So for all of us here at Cocaine Willie, again, shout out to our sponsor, Annie Mae's Parlor, located at 616 North 12th Street. Visit them at www.antimaze.com for a full list of their upcoming events. And if you're stopping by the parlor, be sure to tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. They're also going to have, we're dropping this news in advance. They are probably going to have some koozies available at the parlor. A little collaboration with Annie Mae's between Cocaine Willie and the parlor itself. So be sure to check out Auntie Mae's. They may have some koozies there next time you're there. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, that's going to do it for the Auntie Mae's plug. Additionally, we are the K-State representative on the College Huddle, which is the largest community of fan-driven content in the nation. Check them out at thecollegehuddle.com and follow them on social media at College Huddle. And last but not least, you can follow our show or visit our merch store, cocainewillie.com. You can follow the show at Cocaine Willie on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, or Blue Sky, or follow us individually. I'm at Bob Trollsby. Chef is at Chef Andre Napier, and Fireball Matt is drinking Labatt. Chef.
Blue. Cocaine's a hell of a drug, baby.
We are all Coke and no joke. Wildcat Country. Let's freaking ride, boys. Let's ride.